Welcome to the Get Your Act Together podcast. I am your host, Kelly Reynolds, and today I want to talk to you about something that I am seeing so much all around me in groups, with my friends, different business owners, and it's the idea of this jumping around because there wasn't success. Each time I talk to someone, like if it's a coffee chat or something, and it's the same people over and over again, it is a whole new offer or a whole new team or a whole new strategy. And whatever they tried the last time I talked to them, they didn't see immediate success with it. There were not immediate, extremely positive results, so that they change everything. Like they literally just blew up everything they've been working for. They get all excited about a thing, they build it, and then they're not a billionaire. And then they go, well, this offer must be terrible. So I'm just going to completely change my thing. I'm going to completely start all over again. And they never make it to the success part. And they think that all of the things they've been doing are just wrong. And you know what? I get it. Because as soon as I publish something, like I publish, like when Get Your Agency Together, and I put the sales page live, and I'm not a billionaire in the next 5 minutes, I'm like a huge failure in my head. I get it. But just because there aren't immediate results doesn't mean it's the wrong thing. It doesn't mean that at all. It could just be that no one saw it, or at least not the people that you need to see it that you could help. So if you have this fantastic offer that you never tell anyone about, there's no way for the people that you can help, that you can serve, to find out about it. And that may be why it's not successful. It could be the messaging around it. Maybe you're jumping all around. Maybe every time you change your offer and change what you're doing and change your team and your strategy, it's so discombobulated that no one even knows what you do anymore. I know some friends like that. I have no idea what they do anymore because they've gone through so many iterations, because they just kept saying, well, this didn't work, so I'm going to try something new. I'm going to try something new. Now, there is a part of us that maybe they just like the newness of things. They don't want to follow through. But that consistency, that showing up every day, is just super important to success. Because most of success is just showing up. Seriously. Like just getting up every day and doing the thing. Being consistent. For me, it's getting up every morning, get showered, and get ready. I get dressed for work every day. I'm not a person that can work in my pajamas all day. I need to be dressed for that occasion so that I can make other things happen. In my pajamas, I'm snuggy and I want to curl up with the dog. And then that means I cannot get going. I'm not going to want to get on calls if I haven't showered and I don't look, like I've rolled out of bed. I need that consistency. I need to get up every day because there's a waterfall of events that come from that. If I'm confident that I look okay, and I'm in the right clothes or whatever it is, that confidence carries through the rest of the day. And it's a whole thing. My mindset works on showing up. I need to show up. I will literally put socks and shoes on to come into my office that is in my house. But that is what I need mentally to prepare for work. And as soon as I say, you know what, I'm going to stay in comfy clothes today, and I'm just going to work on the couch, I slowly realize that things don't get done. There is a cascading effect of that. Like just as there is a cascading effect of if I get my stuff done, if I'm dressed and ready to go, then I get my stuff done. There's the opposite. If I don't get dressed and ready every morning, things don't get done. All of a sudden, I end up snuggling with the dog a lot and looking at Facebook instead of putting together something that the client needs or getting on a call with someone. So for me, that consistency is really like literally just getting up and going. But consistency can just be a thing you do every day. Like brushing your teeth is a consistent thing you do every day. There's like little things we do every day. And that means that we have clean teeth and a life. And that kind of stuff, that little consistent stuff, is the stuff that builds habits. That is the stuff that really people notice. If you are consistently showing up on LinkedIn every week, every day, whatever the cadence is, you will see that slowly things start to grow. You get more connections, you have more conversations, you are consistent, you are getting in front of people a little bit every day. You are offering value every day, and people notice. And consistency is a long-term payoff. If you knew that you would make $1 million in 2 years, and all you had to do was post on LinkedIn every day, you'd do it, right? Like, that's the easiest way to make $1 million, right? I just have to post on LinkedIn every day. Easy. But if there's no guarantee of that $1 million, although there's a really great possibility of it, none of us do it, right? We're like, oh, I've been posting on LinkedIn for 3 days and no one has tried to buy anything from me yet. I must be failing, or this must not be working. But sometimes things just take longer. We have to believe that things will come when we're consistently showing up. We need to believe that. And like, that's the beliefs of business, right? There's so many things that we can look at. Like, we can look at financials and we can say, you know, this is the profit, or this is doing this, or whatever. Like, there's so many hard and fast things for business, but believing that things will happen if you're consistent and you just show up, that's harder. That's a leap of faith. But I will tell you, that is where the success is. That is where all those long-term goals come. You see people on, like, I don't know, all those people that show up and they have these 7-figure businesses, 8-figure businesses, whatever they are, whatever the success metric is here for you. And they didn't do it overnight. They have done it over time. They've shown up. They've put on the podcast. They've done the thing. You know what I mean? Like, they have shown up. And that cumulative showing up is what brings success. So don't be so quick to throw away all your work when maybe you just need to show up every day and tell somebody about it. Little things can really make a huge difference here. Now, I want to be clear. I am not talking about perfect. Perfect is stressful. Perfect means that when you mess up, you give up. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you have to have a perfect record of consistency. You have to have 700 days in a row that you've posted on LinkedIn. What I'm saying is, keep going. Even if you miss a day, just keep going. Perfect means that I totally missed the deadline to get a podcast on this week. And if you are listening, if you look at the podcast thing, you're going to see it did not come out on Tuesday. And there was a lot of me that just wanted to skip this podcast. But I have other things scheduled, and it's a whole thing. And it would really kind of mess things up if I didn't get my life together. So instead of being perfect, because I didn't make it to Tuesday, I'm being consistent and making sure a podcast gets out this week, like it's gone out every week. I'm not going to skip it, even if I'm late. I don't need to be perfect. Hey, so I am also not talking about a yucky hustle culture, that like toxic, you have to do all the things all the time, or you're not working hard enough. You know what I mean? I'm almost taking on that voice right now, knowing you know exactly what I'm talking about, where you work really hard all the time until you burn out and get sick. And then you take a break and then you do it again. That is not what I'm talking about. So we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to kill ourselves. We are going to choose some things to do, and we are going to try them for a long enough time that we can see if there is progress, if there is something we can tweak and make better. But not just, oh, this didn't work. Minute 1, I'm going to change everything. I have faith that the things that are coming out of your brains, just like my friends who I see struggling with this, I believe that they know what they're talking about. I believe that they have these wonderful offers or whatever it is, and they give up too soon. So just showing up and giving it a whirl. telling people about it, showing up every day ready to go, believing that it's going to happen, even if it's not happening right this second, and just being consistent. I know that there's great work out there that no one gets to see because people quit too soon. They didn't show up. I know I've seen people like build things and I'm like, that is fantastic. But they didn't keep going. And now the world doesn't get to see that thing. That wonderful, wonderful thing is now, in a drawer somewhere instead of being out there serving and helping people. So don't quit too soon. Show up, even if it's not perfect. Even if you're a couple days late on your podcast, show up anyway, because someone out there may need the message that I'm sending today. And that will help that person. And it will be worth me not being perfect, but still showing up anyway. Because someone needs what you have. Don't give up too soon. I'll talk to you next week. Thank you so much for joining me this week. If you have an agency or want to create one, come join my Facebook community, Get Your Agency Together, where we talk all the things growing and scaling your agency. For show notes and more info on all the things, head over to reynoldsobm.com. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Reynolds OBM. And finally, if you enjoy this podcast, I would love for you to give us a review on iTunes.